Welcome back, Bourbon family. You guys might tell already there's a key difference. I'm not wearing an Under Armour shirt. I know, it's crazy. You're probably like, what in the hell's going on? What is going on with the Bourbon Judge? Why is he not rocking the Under Armour gear? So I got a little dressed up tonight, actually a little date night with Mrs. Judge. So I had to change it up. Obviously I can't wear my Under Armour gear on my date night, so I do dress up once in a blue moon. So hopefully we'll have a nice time at dinner and, trying to show off a little bit. Even throwing the cufflinks for Mrs. Judge also, right? Okay. All right. But anyway, today we're going to do, let's call it the top 10 bourbons to start your collection. So I actually get, emails and Instagram notes. People always reach out regarding different questions. And one of the questions I get quite often is, I'm new to bourbon. I want to start my collection. What should I pick, right? And I'm going back and forth. So, and I did actually an episode a while ago. I mean, gosh, this is probably almost like 2 years ago. Just like the top 5 bourbons. But I'm going to expand it and do the top 10 bourbons to start your collection. You know the way I roll. I'm always going to throw in a little asterisk. So it'll technically be 11, but it's just who I am. But hey, I want to read this email I got from someone. So Jeff reached out to me. So Jeff, I appreciate you. Thank you, by the way, my man. So the email says, Bourbon Judge, I'm new to the bourbon scene and I'm looking to build my collection. Can you provide me with some suggestions on bourbons for people like me who are new to the bourbon world and are not bourbon experts? I want to start building my collection, but I'm lost on where to begin. So, hey, Jeff, man, trust me, I hear you, brother. Been there myself, and hopefully today's review will help you as well as help some others as well. So, I'm going to tell you guys and gals which 10 I'm picking, plus the asterisk. I'm not going to go in too much in depth because no one wants to hear me for that long, but I'll tell you the 10 that I'm picking along with the asterisk, and I'll even tell you the reason why as well. You will notice that all of these are affordable. So they're all affordable. They're going to be less than $100 across the board. All affordable. And the good thing is they're all easily findable. So you can find them. You might have to go to 2 or 3 stores, but you can definitely find them. There's no deep hunting. There's no secondary market for them. There's no waiting at the liquor store right when the delivery truck gets there so that you can actually hopefully, grab the bottle. Not that nothing's wrong with that because I've done that myself numerous times, but these are ones where you can literally just walk into the liquor store, grab it, and say, thank goodness, this is some good bourbon. I'm happy to add it to my collection. Cool? All right. I will say, I'm sure, and you guys know I love comments, so I'm sure some people are going to say, Bourbon Judge, why'd you throw in E.H. Taylor or this from, the Buffalo Trace collection? I'm not going with like the really high end. This is like just really good bourbon that's easy to find. Cool? All right. 10 different bourbons. All right. I'm going to tell you the reason why. Starting off, let's go with a Kentucky-based bourbon. This is Maker's Mark. So I'm going to do Maker's Mark 46. So this is the half bottle, but just think the same thing, a little bit bigger. Maker's Mark 46 coming in at 94 proof. Maker's really has, for themselves, changed the game as it relates to a wheated bourbon. So I'm picking this one because it's a wheated bourbon, number one. So wheat is the second primary ingredient in the mash bill other than corn. I'm picking this one because it's a wheated bourbon. I'm also picking it because it has the 10 French oak staves in it. So if you're looking for something that has a bit more of a robust like flavor notes, a bit more almost like just very warm, like cinnamon, notes of like some marshmallows, some chocolate in there as well. This is a fantastic bourbon, roughly about $45 for regular Maker's 46, maybe even $40, just kind of depending on where you live. But Maker's 46, the regular Maker's 46 is a fantastic product, definitely one to add to your collection, hands down. All right. Let's keep going with let's stick with Kentucky for a while here. Now, Knob Creek. Knob Creek is a quintessential Kentucky-based distillery. They make a variety of different bourbons and ryes. This one in particular is the single barrel, aged 9 years. Now, I will say this is the 120 proof Knob Creek. And I will say, while this is 120 proof, if you are newer to bourbon, you may want to add an ice cube or two to this one if you find the 9-year 120 proof one, because It is obviously at 120 proof. That's going to have quite a big of a kick to it. So, but if you're used to it, maybe if you want to try that, just neat, sure. But just be ready to have that ice cube next to it so you can have it on the rocks, and you should definitely enjoy it once it has a chance to kind of open up and breathe a little bit. And I think regardless, you'll love it. They also have a very similar version that is 100 proof. That might be a better option as well. But either way, both fantastic options. Knob Creek, can't go wrong with the Knob Creek bourbon. You truly can't. Woo! 2 down, 8 to go. Plus the asterisk. Oh man. So everyone, even if you do not drink bourbon or sip bourbon and enjoy bourbon, you always heard of this company, Woodford Reserve. It's in every airplane, every hotel mini bar. It's all over. I mean, it's on every damn commercial. But I will say, this is Woodford Reserve. This is their double oaked, coming in at 90.4 proof. This is Woodford Reserve double oaked. This one is going to have, I mean, a ton more flavor. This is one you definitely want to sip a bit more on the, let's call it like on the neat side. I mean, you can add an ice cube if you're newer to bourbon, but you really don't need to, because again, it's only 90.4 proof. It's very, almost maybe a bit sweet, a bit smoky as well, slightly different than Makers, if you will, because it's just that it goes through the whole double oak process. But it is a very good bourbon at $55, maybe $1 or $2 more, 56, 57. One of the best bourbons on the market, hands down, especially for someone who is new to bourbon. As you can tell, I have a ton of bourbon, and look how much I love this bottle. I mean, and this is, I just got this bottle not too long ago. So it's a fantastic quality product. 55, 56 bucks. You really can't beat it. Let me go back for a second, because I think I missed the price point for Knob Creek. Knob Creeks will always range in that $45, $55 range. So again, affordable, easy to find. All three of these. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to go. Woo! All right, I'm going to go with one of my favorite, I'm going to call this one of my favorite everyday distilleries, day in, day out. It doesn't matter if you find the small batch version, if you find the bottled and bond, whichever 1792 product that you find, please make sure you pick it up and add it to your collection. 1792 is probably by far, I would say, one of the best, most easily available, and best quality products out there in the bourbon market. Again, this is for someone that's newer to bourbon. They do have some higher end ones, such as like the aged 12 years. Hold off on those. Those are extremely hard to find. But if you can find the small batch, or even this bottled and bond, or even like a single barrel, they're only going to range like 35, 45 bucks. I think this one, this bottled and bond, is like a $40 bottle. Budget friendly, easy to find, and delicious. All together, that is amazing. I mean, truly amazing. I love 1792 products day in, day out. I think they produce some great quality products. All right, almost halfway there, but not yet. Still one more to go to get halfway there. Oh man. All right, let's go to Old Grandad 114. This, you want to talk about a bourbon that has a kick? Old Grandad 114 is your quintessential, straight, true, really good Kentucky bourbon. What I like about it is the fact that, number one, hell of a price, right? It's like a $32, $35 bottle, just kind of depending on where you live, but in that 30-ish range. Again, depending on where you live, taxes and so forth. It's affordable. It's easy to find. You can find Old Grandad 114 anywhere. It's going to have those traditional like caramel, brown sugar. It's also going to have a ton of like a nut in the palate, if you will. So tons of like peanuts in the palate. Very nut forward, but it's fantastic. It does have a ton of a kick though, right? Because again, it's Old Grandad 114, so 114 proof. This one, very similar to the Knob Creek. You may want to add an ice cube or two if you are newer to bourbon. Again, just kind of depends on your palate and what you can handle and what you prefer. But fantastic, and probably I think one of the cheapest of all these, Old Grandad 114. Can't go wrong. Oh man, so much great bourbon. At the end, you guys and gals, you know I'm going to sip some bourbon, right? I mean, you know it, right? I gotta sip at least one, so it'd be interesting to figure out which one I'm going to sip. So more to come. All right. Hey, real quick, I need everyone's help. 3 quick and easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know what missed. Well, like, what did I miss? What should be on the list if I didn't pick one of the ones that you think should be on the top 10 list to start a collection. Let me know how I did. Give me some feedback. Give me some insight. I love going back and forth. And then also, please make sure you also subscribe to the channel as well, so that you get the notification whenever I put out new content. All right, let's keep going. Even though it's the top 10 bourbons to start out your collection, if you're going to start out a collection, you have to have a rye. I mean, you have to. You have to have a rye. And honestly, there is no rye out there, in my opinion, better at starting out, like crossing over. Because think about when you move over from bourbon to a rye whiskey, so it's going to be a bit more earthy, a bit more of a bite, and a bit more peppery. Pikesville coming in, coming in at 110 proof. This is probably one of the best ryes out there that sips similar to a bourbon. So even like when I started my journey, for example, and I crossed over into rye, this is one of the ryes that I even use as like that transition, if you will, because it sips very similar to a bourbon. It will help to introduce you to a rye. Again, this one also comes in as like a $45, $50 bottle. You can't go wrong with a Pikesville product. Just honestly, straight up amazing. Day in, day out, I don't care what anyone says. This is one of the best ryes out there in general, as well as one of the best ones to cross over if you are newer, coming over from bourbon and trying your first rye ever. This is it. This is your jam, as they say. All right. Whew. What do we have so far? Oh yeah, now we're already crossed over. All right, we're at number 6 now. 6 to 10. All right. So, there are many distilleries in Kentucky. The list would not be complete. And I'm not just picking Kentucky distilleries. They just happen to have some fantastic bottles. Four Roses small batch. I don't actually have the small batch bottle, but this is Four Roses small batch select. If you can find either or, the small batch or even the small batch select, this one here coming in at 104 proof, about a $50, $55 bottle-ish, if you will. Great quality product. This one's going to be a bit more on the sweet side as it relates to not so much like smoky or campfire-ish like a Maker's or even a Woodford. This is more like berries, more apple, more fruit. So Four Roses is known as typically more of a sweeter bourbon, but more like on the fruitier side. Fantastic quality. Again, check out their small batch, or in this case, which I think is even a step up, the small batch select is amazing, and I mean an amazing bourbon coming in at 104 proof. Even though it's 104 proof, it doesn't have a major kick. But again, you can always add an ice cube if you want it on the rocks. If you do sip it neat and you're like, you know what, Bourbon Judge, I tried it, but it's a little bit too much for me. So you can always add an ice cube after you at least try it neat. That's my recommendation. Try a bourbon neat first, and if it needs an ice cube, you want it on the rocks, go ahead and rock and roll and throw an ice cube or two in there. All right, couple more to go. And then the asterisk. Got to close it out with that, right? Why not? All right. Let's move over to, oh man, you want to talk about the campfire of bourbons and why I like them. Michter's holds a special place in my heart. So this is the Michter small batch. This one here coming in at 91.4 proof. About a $50 bottle for the most part, right? Again, depending on where you live, there's taxes and so forth, but for the most part, you will find Michter's for about 50 bucks-ish, if you will. I love this bourbon because I think Michter's define their own space. So yes, you know, Maker's has like a smoky kind of a note to it, more like on the, I would say it's more smoky, but it's slightly different. Woodford is very close in many ways because it has that double oak. It does have like that smokiness to it as well. But Michter's, all of their products, and I mean all of their products, have that like toasted, almost campfire type of a palate. So if you're looking for something that's a bit more sweet, a bit more that has like marshmallows, chocolate, some cinnamon, and you want that experience in a bottle of bourbon, there is no way you can have anything else other than Michter's. That's their space. It's their jam. That's what they like. That's how they rock and roll. And I love myself some Michter's. love Michter's. Great quality product. And I think this is one at 91.4 proof. You honestly, again, try it neat. I don't think you would probably need an ice cube in this one. I think you can probably have this one pretty much neat by itself. All right. We are getting close, folks. Wow, we got 2, 4, 6, 8. 2 to go plus the asterisk. Uh-oh. All right. We're going to stick with, wow, gosh, all Kentucky so far. This was not by design, by the way, either. It really wasn't. Elijah Craig Small Batch. Coming in at 94 proof, $40-ish, maybe even high 30s, kind of depending where you live. This is an amazing bottle of bourbon, one that I think if you're new to trying bourbon as a whole and you're really trying to build your collection, this is a staple. I'm going to give you a hint. After you've had bourbon for maybe a couple months and you're really starting to enjoy it, maybe you're trying to increase the proof point as well. They have another version called Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Now that one, for example, the most recent version that just came out, the C921, I just reviewed that a couple weeks ago. That one is 120 proof. So start off with the small batch, easy to find, very affordable in that $40 range-ish. Great quality product. This is another Kentucky-based distillery. This is Heaven Hill, along with Pikesville, which is also Heaven Hill as well. Always great quality, day in, day out. Mine is actually a store pick, but at the end of the day, remove the sticker, find the exact same bottle, and you will have a fantastic bottle from a great quality standpoint. And that's one of the reasons why I picked all of these. They're great quality products day in, day out. There's very little variation, meaning if I go to store A in Mexico, store A in New Mexico versus store B by me in Maryland, it's going to be the same bottle of Michter's for the most part, right? Same palette, no matter if I'm in New Mexico versus Delaware versus Texas versus Florida. It's all going to have it's going to be very consistent across the products because you know what you're getting when you buy Michter's versus Makers versus 1792. It's always going to be consistent. And that's what I love about all these. They're all consistent and great quality. All right. Number 10. I'm running out of room here. Let me make some space because I got to sip something later, right? I got to pour something. Number 10 and then the asterisk. What are we going with? All right. Let's make it so you guys can all see these. All right. Number 10, then the asterisk. Woo, baby. All right. I think I'm going to sip the asterisk too. I am. All right. Last but not least, in terms of the true number 10, Russell's Single Barrel. This is truly, gosh, I'm almost lost for words with it. It's such a unique product made by Wild Turkey, which is the distillery that really makes it. Russell Single Barrel. This one coming in at 110 proof. It's about $55 from a price standpoint. Still very affordable, right? I mean, all of these are really less than $60 for the most part. $55, extremely affordable, easy to find. It has that very traditional, just Wild Turkey, a Russell's base product like notes. It's such a great bourbon, one that you absolutely have to have in your collection. The only caveat I will say, this one produces a hell of a punch. Even though it's 110 proof, in my opinion, again, just my opinion only, it sips a little bit higher, maybe like 115, 120. So if you're newer to the bourbon, maybe try a very small sip of it first, just a small smidge, but then have a couple ice cubes ready to go, because more than likely you'll probably need to have this on the rocks. That's the only caveat I will say about this one. It's 110 proof, but again, it sips a lot hotter in most cases. If you don't find this version, they do have also a 10-year, I think it's 90 proof version. That's also a really good product as well, but this one I think just stands out leaps and bounds above all their other products from Russell's standpoint. I had to kiss it. I had to kiss it. I love that bottle. All right. And I'm going to move it over here. Just have some space. So, you have 10 fantastic bourbons. I threw in a rye as well, right? Just want to make sure 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? 10. You got 10 great bourbons and a rye. Start your collection. Fantastic collection right here. If you can get these 10, which you should easily be able to find, you are off to a great start. But, if you're new to the channel, you will always know that whenever I do a list, I can't help myself without throwing in an asterisk. So in this case, 11th bottle, or number 11. This one, oh man, it's just so damn good. I just love it, honestly. I really love this bottle. I love it because, again, that whole consistency item I brought about before, coming in at 93 proof, also a Kentucky-based distillery. You know what you're getting each and every time. About $55, maybe almost closer to $60. The price on this one's going up a little bit. Old Forester 1910. Folks, there are not a lot of products out there that whenever I get home after like a long day, crazy day, I'm looking for something that is just it's well-rounded. It's soft, but it's complex at the same time. Coming in at 93 proof, as it says right here. It's one of the best bourbons, in my opinion, on the market, period. It's, had to pop that one real quick. It's truly fantastic. It's extremely creamy. It's extremely oak forward. So this is one where I think also at 93 proof, definitely try it on the rocks. I'm sorry, try it neat first, rather, because it's a little bit creamy, a little bit oak forward. It might have a little bit of a kick for you, especially if you're newer to bourbon. But ideally, definitely try it neat first. Worst case, if you need to add it on the rocks, you can always add an ice cube or two. This is one of the best bourbons, hands down. I mean, all of these, in my opinion, are just fantastic quality. I mean, I was thinking about ranking them, but they're all just so great. If you are truly starting your collection, you cannot go wrong with any of these different bottles. They are all winners all day long. Oddly enough, they're actually all Kentucky-based distilleries as well. Old Forester included. I did not plan that. It's just the way it is. Hey, I say this each and every week. Peace, cheers, salute. I appreciate each and every one of you out there. Thank you for always watching The Bourbon Judge and all the love and support. Cheers to you all. Creamy, oaky. It's just damn delicious.